So I was given the opportunity to try out some Lithuanian military rations recently and decided to make a full review about it. It appears that the undisputed king of military ration reviewers on YouTube is the channel Steve1989 MRE Info with over 2 million subscribers. I watched a few of Steve's videos to get an idea of what a good review looks like, and so this video will be in a somewhat similar style with my own personal touches. So if you're ready to find out what Lithuanian soldiers eat out in the field, keep watching. You may or may not know that I was a reservist in the Canadian military for a few years, so I'm definitely no stranger to military rations, having had many of these meals during field exercises. This experience will be in the back of my mind as I unpack the Lithuanian equivalent for this video, and I'll definitely be mentioning how it compares to what Canadians get, or at least got a long time ago. First off, I'm told that these Lithuanian military meal packs are called Sausas Davinys, or Sausiakas as slang. Sausas Davinys literally translates to dry ration, probably because most of the components like coffee, juice, and soup require adding water. Canadian rations are called IMPs, which stands for Individual Meal Pack. The American equivalent is the MRE, which stands for Meal Ready to Eat. Alright, first we have to receive the meals. Here they are all bundled up in a package sent through the postal system, and opening this bag, we see that each are packaged in a thick and shiny dark green plastic. I guess the full name of these, as printed on the package, is Sausas Maisto Davinys, which translates to dry food ration. Each one is a different numbered variant, or variantas. Variant number 3 is a beef stew with pearl millet porridge. The energy value in this meal is 1,300 calories, and it expires on October 25th, 2024. Variant number 5 is pork stew with vegetables. Again, the main meal is 240 grams, while the whole package is 670 grams. The energy value of this meal is also 1,300 calories, and it also expires on October 25th. And finally, variant number 6 is chicken stew with buckwheat porridge. The meal is also 240 grams, and the entire package is again 670 grams. But there are a few less calories inside, with 1,296, but the expiry date is the same. The supplier, at least according to the package, is called Pakma, based out of Marijampolė. I looked them up, and it looks like they make equipment that makes glazed curd cheeses, which Lithuanians will know as sūrelis. Looking at their client list, it looks like a lot of different companies use Pakma equipment to make sūrelis. Maybe some viewers out there want to invest in Lithuania Explained brand sūrelis with me? Okay, I think I'm getting too far off topic now. Back to the rations. So each package has a notch up at the top for easy opening if you don't have a sharp tool with you. It's quite a thick and durable plastic, which should be good at protecting it from getting wet. Canadian packs are paper bags lined with a metallic plastic paper on the inside, and so it's somewhat water resistant, but the outside definitely gets shredded and soggy in the rain, and so that's something that wouldn't happen with these Lithuanian packs. Unpacking things one by one, we have these thick hard crackers, or rusks, and these are called džiūvėsiai in Lithuanian. Then we have a pack of almonds, or migdolai, this thick paper/thin cardboard tray for food heating. As I unpack this, it's interesting how everything in the package is also in English. I assume the purpose of this is for allied or foreign soldiers who might do training and exercises in Lithuania. Okay, and then there's this accessory pack, which we'll get into later. And this other accessory pack, which I'll also explain later. And then, in this cardboard box, is our main course, beef stew with pearl millet porridge. And finally, we have this plastic bag which contains reactive chemicals that will generate heat when put into contact with water. As you can see, there are detailed instructions for use written right on the pack. Alright, let's open one food accessory pack. Here we can see there's instant cherry powder drink and a pea soup powder mix, and both of these items are produced by a Lithuanian company called Klingai. You'll probably see some of their products in Lithuanian supermarkets. And then there's an ice mint chewing gum and 5 grams of sugar. And this one is pretty fun. Most Lithuanians will know of the Šiauliai-based chocolate company Ruta. Here is a 36-gram package of dark chocolate from the company, wrapped in a novel camouflage pattern plastic package. And finally, in this pack, we have 25 grams of blackcurrant jam. It's nice to see everything, or most things, domestically sourced. Opening up the utility package, we have these dry fuel tablets. I'm not going to be using them in this review, but if you're unfamiliar with them, you light these with matches and they'll burn to produce enough heat to cook some food or maybe even boil water. You'll need a metal surface to place them under in order to safely transfer the heat, of course. Then we have this fairly sturdy plastic spoon. The color and rough texture leads me to think that these are compostable or biodegradable, though I'm not 100% sure. And then we have a lemon-scented wet wipe, which comes from Wimex, which appears to be a Czech company. And then there's this small white zip tie and a small box of matches. And that is everything in a Lithuanian military dry ration pack. And as you can see, we have a special guest, my wife.
My wife?
We're still both committed to being somewhat anonymous on these videos, and so we've added this cartoon filter to cover her face.
We started with almonds, McDolly. They were a little bit stale, not the best I had. However, having in mind that it is from survival pack, meaning a long shelf life, it was not too bad.
The almonds for me were pretty good, although there was one that was a little stale, but most of them in the package were fresh. They aren't salted or flavored in any way. Here's another guest, our cat.
Next, we had some Ruta chocolate, Chocoladas. I was surprised to see it as 2 pieces of black chocolate, cause at first I thought it is just a chocolate bar.
It's cool that they're stamped with Ruta, a very, very nice touch.
It was tasty.
It's not too sweet, and apparently it's 75% cocoa, but it's pretty damn hard. Although I'm guessing that they would be softer in the summer heat.
Would be really nice with some coffee though.
Opening the package of rusks, or
Džiūvėsiai.
There were some cracked ones in this package, but the other packages we opened had fully undamaged ones.
It was quite hard to bite into. However, they were okay, more on the savory side.
I'm sure they're meant to be like this, but can be quite the tough crunch for your teeth. And then
Blackcurrant jam, juodųjų serbentų džemas. Very Lithuanian, you could find this in every granny's shelf. It was okay, not too sweet, not too sour. Jam with biscuit for me was a little bit unusual. I would prefer it with fresh white bread, but I guess you can't have it in the pack for a long shelf life.
I imagine with these being so hard that they'd be a pretty good thing to dip into soup. Alright, let's move on to the juice.
Cherry powder drink, vyšnių gėrimas. The smell was artificial, however, taste was quite good. It reminded me of some lollipops I had as a child. Not too sweet too, maybe I just added too much water.
This pack has cherry, but another pack we opened had strawberry. It mixed quite easily and didn't have any clumping issues.
Next we had pea soup, žirnių sriuba.
Unlike mixing the juice, the soup was clumpy and didn't mix too well. Either that, or these were maybe the supposed breadcrumbs. It was hard to tell, to be honest.
It smelled like a pea soup, however it didn't taste like one, and was a bit salty. Using heat pack was really interesting and fun. I've never tried something like this before. You add just a few milliliters of cold water, and after a few minutes of bubbling and making some weird noises, the main dish is warm.
Interestingly, Canadian meal packages don't have these heating packs included. Someone on Reddit does say that the Canadian military has the heating packs, but these are just handed out separately, I guess whenever they're needed. Our default method, at least anytime I've had IMPs, is to heat them in a pot of boiling water or a pressure cooker on a camping stove. I can see how excluding these as default will cut down on waste and expense, but it is definitely fun to use. Here you can see it working away, filling the room with smelly gases. We only later discovered this little sticker that's used to seal the bag. I guess it's pretty self-explanatory, but you'd expect it to be mentioned somewhere, just like everything else. Oh, and as for soldier-proof instructions, the American MREs have these instructions that tell you to place the heat package against a rock or something. Doing some research, I found an interview with the designers, and they had this to say about their 1993 decision to include this wording. We were designing the directions and wanted to show an object to rest the heater on. One person said, I don't know, let's make it a rock or something. So we wrote rock or something on the object, kind of as a joke. So if you didn't know, now you know. Okay, back to the actual review.
For the main dish, I guess I just lump it in one. In one packet we had beef, another was chicken, and the third was the pork. Sadly, all of three smelled and tasted the same, at least for me.
The texture was okay, but one of the best parts of pearl millet, when consumed more fresh, is the slight bounce that each pearl has. Since this pearl millet has been stored for who knows how long, it's definitely just, well, mushy.
The taste isn't too bad, just a little bit too salty. And my favorite part, the coffee. This time we had instant coffee, tirpi kava. It smelled really nice and the taste was delicious. However, I find it a little bit sad that you don't get coffee in every pack, and it's decision between coffee and hot soup.
I've confirmed that this is normal for Lithuanian rations. Again, I can appreciate that it's something that cuts down on waste and costs, but it would be obviously very unfortunate if you were wanting to have coffee and soup. So we were thinking to film reviews of the other packages as well, but really, they're pretty much the same. The accessories and snacks were the same, and well, to be honest, the meals tasted pretty much the same too, despite being different meats. The chicken is, well, noticeably chicken meat, but the flavor is the same. It's more or less the same with the pork. You're ultimately getting a salty, meaty flavored mush, and it's gonna taste awesome when you're cold, wet, and starving. But admittedly, if you're eating this outside of the fields, then you'll find other options around your apartment or local cafe or supermarket that are probably much tastier. Well, I mean, obviously, it's all relative, isn't it? Ultimately, it's very interesting to try military rations from another country. The meals I've tried lack any interesting flavors, and it's kind of just meat and salt. But it gets the job done, doesn't it? I think I enjoyed chicken the most, probably because I generally like this meat more than beef or pork. A Lithuanian soldier I talked to tells me that he's traumatized from ever wanting to eat the chicken meal ever again. He told me about this one incident where he ate one of these chicken meals, but found that part of the chicken meat wasn't cleaned properly. So there was skin and some feathers and bones inside, and so it's a hard pass for the Vištienos Sausas for this guy. To compare this experience with my Canadian ration experience, I can only hope that there is more variety among Lithuanian meals that I just haven't tried. The Canadian meals are quite varied with many different types. I thought the Ruta chocolate was a nice touch, especially with the military-specific packaging and the hard Ruta stamp into the chocolate bars. I can also appreciate the convenience of having a heating pack as a standard inclusion, and that is definitely a win over the Canadian packages. So to the Lithuanians out there who have tried these rations, what do you think? Let me know by leaving a comment. And for the Lithuanian word of the day, let's go with valgyti, which is the verb to eat. Valgyti. And I'll see you next time. If you enjoy this channel and want to support me in making more videos, please consider becoming a Patreon patron. There's a link down in the description for you to check out. Thanks so much for watching.